what's going on, everybody? Happy Thanksgiving. Welcome to T-Box Talk, episode 32. My name is Andrew, and as always, joined today by Josh and Will. This episode will be coming out on Thanksgiving, so happy Thanksgiving to everybody. Today's podcast, we are going to be doing some weekend roundup, some golf stuff, some football coverage, what are we watching, and then we're going to do a little Thanksgiving segment. All right, before we get started today, I do want to call out our Black Friday sale going on OMADAGolf.com right now. We'll be going all the way through Cyber Monday. The Tri-Light has been marked down to $249. Use code BFCM10, BFCM10 to get your Tri-Light down to $224.10. Makes for a great present for any golfer, or just get it for yourself. Who knows?
Or just buy it and put it in your living room and stare at it.
Yeah, you could do that too. We don't care what you do with it. Just get it. No, but the sale's going great so far. Reach out at contact@OMADA Golf if you have any questions. All right, let's get into it. The weekend roundup. I'm going to get us started. Excuse me. Because I have a story that I have been waiting to tell the boys, and it happened to me on Friday. So we get out of work on Friday, and I wanted to go to Marshall's to do a little bit of shopping because there were some things I needed to get I've been thinking about, and I finally was like, you know what, I'm doing it. I go to Marshall's. I go inside Marshall's, and I notice a strange character. You know, he's kind of walking around the store dressed pretty, riff-raffy, kind of disheveled. Has a bunch of stuff that he's buying, so I'm like, all right, yeah, it's Marshall's, whatever.
And for those of you who don't know what disheveled means, neither do I.
All right, so, he almost looked like a homeless guy. Like, his clothes were kind of all fucked up, and, he just kind of looked out of place.
Yeah, just a joke.
Yeah.
Coach drives to the library, rents a dictionary.
Coach's going to pull out the dictionary and give me the walkthrough. I'm just fucking around.
Gotta be honest with you, I don't know what disheveled is. I just know that's a term that
Glitch, you're a cute motherfucker. Keep going. Sorry.
Yeah, this story is not cute, though.
Oh, shit.
So I go to the duffel bag section because I want a new duffel bag because, as Josh knows, my duffel bag is a disaster. It's from when I was in 7th grade. It's all ripped. It's disgusting. It's horrible, right? So I go, on my way there, I accidentally locked eyes with this guy, right? Just for a quick second, okay, whatever. I go, I'm standing in front of the duffel bags for maybe 3 or 5 minutes because I was in limbo, didn't know which one I wanted to get. I choose one. I'm like, okay, done. Then I want to go get some mid-calf socks, right? Because it's wintertime, need to stay warm. I don't know which brand I want to get, so I'm sitting in front of them for a long time, looking at them, which one do I want to get? What's the deal here? Blah, 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 blah. All of a sudden, I hear a cowbell ringing behind me. I'm like, what the fuck? I turn around, it's the guy, and for some reason, he's added a cowbell to his arsenal of things that he's getting, right? Okay. And he's walking around the store, everywhere, saying things out loud.
Banging the cowbell.
Yeah, he's a weird guy, right? So I hear the cowbell. I look, I turn around, and I lock eyes with him for a second time now. And I'm like, oh, shit. So then I go back to looking. All of a sudden, I hear footsteps behind me. He walks up right on me, comes in front of me. He's looking at all the mid-calf socks right there. He stands directly in front of me and then backs up into me and kind of shoves me a little bit. I'm like, okay, this guy's clearly kind of a nut job, so I'm just going to step to the side of him and continue trying to find which ones I want. And then all of a sudden I hear him say to me, what are you doing? And I was like, I'm shopping, man. He goes, you're walking around the store awfully weird, man. What are you doing in here? And I was like, I'm shopping. I just don't know which one to get. Then it gets hostile. He freaking steps up to me, bumps his chest into me, and he's like, don't you ever point your shoes at me like that again. I'm a Hell's Angel. And I was like, what are you talking about? I'm like, dude, we're good. I haven't done anything. And he just kept stepping me. He's like, don't you ever look at me like that again. And this guy's about to kill me inside this store. And I'm looking around. I'm like, nobody's seeing this right now? Are you kidding me? And You know those moments when like you're like,
incoming, Colucci rips his shirt off and runs out the store.
you know those
down the
got
road.
the joke. I got
yeah,
the joke.
Yeah, the reference.
You know those moments when like you think like you're in the shower and you're like playing things in your head, like if I was getting a fight, this is what I would say and this is what I would do. When I tell you my ball sack went up into my stomach and I almost puked right there on the floor, I completely froze. Like I didn't know what this guy was gonna do. His hands were in this big puffy jacket like this.
Oh,
like,
really?
So I was like, does he have something? Is he about to pull out something? I was so scared. And he just kept pressing me. Eventually, I'm like, okay, fuck the socks. I just grabbed a random pair and I just like walked to the front. I'm like, please don't follow me. Please don't follow me. Here he comes. He's following me now. And so now I have a choice, right? I'm like, do I drop all the items that I have right now and just run out of the store? Or do I go into the checkout line with other people to like, I don't know, like I'll be safe around other people. So I'm like, I kind of want the duffel bag and socks. So I'm like, I'll go in the checkout line. There's no way he's going to get in the line next to me, right? I get in the checkout line. I see him slowly like walking by. And then boom, he comes right into the checkout line right behind me, starts interrogating me again. He's talking shit. And like, I'm looking around me and like, nobody's doing anything. I'm like, I look at the girl next to me. I'm like, what the fuck do I do? I'm like, this guy's like questioning me, all this stuff. And eventually I like get to the front and I'm like, okay, there's like 6 checkout counters. So I need to go to one and I need to make sure I check out fast. Because if this guy checks out at the same time as me, we leave the store together, I have no idea what's going to happen outside. So luckily, I don't even know how much I spent at Marshall's. I was shaking as I was paying for my items. I was like, no receipt, just give me my things. And I left. And luckily, he didn't have time to check his things out too. And I just fucking sprinted to my car and peeled out. And then my whole day was ruined after that.
Wow, that's fucking weird, man.
Yeah. First of all, there's no way he was actually a Hell's Angel. He was literally just a crackpot. Like, he was insane.
Yeah.
He was just looking for a fucking fight or
He
something.
was. So I went home and I was like talking to my mom about it. And she goes, yeah, crazy people like that, he saw you. He wanted to pick on you. He thought you were weak. And that's exactly what he did. And, yeah. And
well, I think there's a couple questions we have to ask ourselves before we go down that route is, first off, what the fuck were you doing in a Marshall shopping for socks? You know, is that...
They have great deals.
They have great deals.
Great.
Is it Black Friday deals or...
No, they just have good deals.
I mean, they've got to have some Black Friday deals.
Yeah, I mean, they definitely... everything was on sale there.
So we're just early on the sale. You're just like an anxious Black Friday shopper. You needed to get there before the sale, the big sales.
Yeah. Dude, I got an Adidas duffel bag for $18. It's a $50 bag.
How dare you plug Adidas in this podcast right now?
It was freaking awesome.
Well, that is an interesting story.
He was crazy, man.
It's hard to even, what do you say about it?
I don't know. I mean, I was maybe expecting a different ending to that. You know, like
there was no redemption to that story.
Yeah,
it was just bad the whole way through.
Yeah, it's very creepy, and I would love to first of all, what's good with the cowbell?
Yeah,
like what do you think he was just doing that to get people's attention so he could like lock eyes with you?
Yeah,
and
he was like shouting in the store and stuff. Like I saw him like talking to other people and like almost yelling. I couldn't believe this guy like wasn't getting kicked out of the store, and then I'm
going to give you a little piece of advice.
I accidentally locked eyes with him, and then he targeted it on me.
Okay, right. Here's a piece of advice. If you ever find yourself in that situation again, where there's a crazy person in front of you who wants to fight you.
He was pressing me in front of the socks.
Pressing. You know what? This is my advice to you. You look him in the eyes. You analyze him head to toe. You take a good hard look at him right into his soul. And then you bust out into a seizure. You just start flailing around on the ground like a dead fish. For as crazy as he is, he will not know what to do.
No, he wouldn't.
Because there's a level of threshold where you got
to out crazy him.
You have to out crazy him, and it's a defense mechanism. See, when sea urchins are attacked, right, they have their pointy spikes. That you need to find your pointy spike. And I think a seizure would be a good one for you and that's not to make fun of people with seizures, of course. I'm just speaking to Andrew in a deadly situation with no physical combat experience whatsoever. Like he's being picked on and targeted. he needs to frill those fucking pointies out. And I think that's your best. Or you could just start dry heaving. You know, like
I almost did.
that's not a bad route. It's like a
or
golem.
or just actually puke. That would
That's
probably
pretty
work.
good too.
That might work.
I was so nervous. I almost puked.
Yeah.
Because he was like on me.
You got to try. You have to fake it though. It doesn't have to be real.
Did he have a smell? Like
No, like he didn't really smell like a homeless guy, if you know what I mean.
Dude, he
like,
could have been a Hell's Angel. I mean, that's the weird part, right?
No, but a Hell's Angel would never say I'm a Hell's Angel. You know, they just let their actions speak. You know, like,
maybe.
He was like, and it was the craziest line,
right.
the
I agree with
craziest
that.
line I've ever heard, because he was accusing me of squaring up to him. That was his whole argument.
Yeah.
He said, "Don't ever point your shoes at me." I'm
that's like an expression I've never heard before.
I was
Well,
so
point
taken-
your shoes. You know what that means?
like square up.
Right.
Yeah.
Right.
I didn't square up to him, and meanwhile he's like chest bumping me. I'm like, dude, what the fuck?
Well, good to know that Marshalls and similar retail stores are getting safer and safer out there.
Never go to a fucking Marshalls again.
Yeah.
I might
Literally
not go
scarred.
back. I've been to that Marshalls 100 times. It's a great one. It's just man.
I mean, I told you about that time.
I was so shaken up though. It was scary.
I told you about that. Well, see, then don't go to LA because let me tell you something. Like in LA, that is everywhere, nonstop.
You just get
And
pressed.
Yeah, I mean, it's not just pressed. Like I told you about the time where I saw a man. There were two kids, had to be under 13. Maybe one of them, the older sister, was like 12, or 13, and the younger kid was like 8. And these two kids are walking through Hollywood Boulevard and down like where the stars are on the street and everything. And some fucking guy comes running up out of nowhere, and just starts trying, like almost on the verge of fighting them, like fists in the air, like yelling and screaming at them. And I stood there and I didn't want to engage until I knew that he was going to get physical, because you could tell he was some type of, like, he was seeing things. It wasn't even, he was not on the planet. And sure enough, like, I stood there and I watched him, and I'm like 10 feet away with my father and my sister. And if I go and engage with him right now, no matter what happens, it's a bad end. Either I really hurt him, or he's got a gun in his pocket, or some crazy shank, and I get jabbed. There's just no matter what, the day's ruined, and we were in LA. So finally he walked away, but man, I just couldn't believe what people are capable of. It's crazy.
I noticed that too, like, and I don't want to like generalize homeless people here, but like I feel like every state has like a different type of homeless person maybe. And like
100%.
When I was out in San Diego, I've been chased by homeless people in San Diego before.
Very real.
And in just New York, for example, like they're not like that, and they're not like that. They're very, I wouldn't say respectful, but they don't really bother you. And every time I went out to San Diego, it was a complete polar opposite. It was people were chasing me down the street, very aggro.
But anyways, that sucks, Colucci. And
it was just brutal. It was but it was kind of one of those like, and then of course when I got home, I'm in the shower. I'm like, here's what I should have said. I was like reenacting the whole thing in my head. And I was like, I'm just gonna.
Yeah, it riles you a little bit.
I'm just gonna forget about it.
You'll move on.
Yeah, but all right. The rest of my weekend was great. Went to Boston, saw an old friend, had a great time. Will?
I had a pretty low-key weekend. Marissa and I went over to her grandparents on Saturday. We cooked dinner for her grandparents and a few of her cousins, so that was nice. And then yesterday I played golf like a fucking idiot.
Dude, it was cold.
So it might have been the coldest day of the year so far, I think. And ironically enough, I chose that to be the day I go out and golf. But yeah, I mean, it was 30s. It was 35 degrees out, but I think with real feel it was like 20 or 25 degrees.
Yeah,
which is teetering on that like subs 20 I was talking about last week.
Yeah.
And the problem was it was 30 to 40 mile an hour winds. So it was like, not only was it fucking cold, there was snow in the forecast for that morning randomly at 9 o'clock. I was like, great, this is an awesome start to Sunday. And I'm kind of like, I'm like sitting on the couch. It's like 8:40. It's like I either I shower now or I get in the car. And I shower now and get in the car, or I just stay home and call it off. And everyone else that was playing with us wanted to play. So, we suited up and went out there, and we only lasted 9 holes. I did shoot a 38, though, and honestly, shameless plug, like walking with the Tri-Lite was a godsend, like a savior.
Yeah.
Because if I had taken a cart, it would have been 10 times cold. Yeah, I would have been just frozen. And also, like, my dad found a bunch of hand warmers from last ski season, so we divvied those out, and those were an absolute lifesaver as well. So, yeah, I mean, it was fun nonetheless. We got a hot meal after, and it was all worth it once we had come back from
You're a
the
fucking
ice ages.
psychopath.
Yeah,
I felt that yesterday. Like, I took Tiki out a couple times during the day, and
no.
it was cold enough where it felt like I had needles on my face.
Yeah.
Yeah, well, there was like the problem was it was like, oh, it's supposed to be like a high of 44, and of course, like, nope, it was the low yesterday. So I mean, like the sun was out for the most part, but man, when that sun went away and those winds were blowing, it was brutal. Like I couldn't feel my face for 2 of the holes. But
Thank God we didn't go to the Patriots game. That would have been a nightmare.
I could have, dude. I was so thankful that we didn't do that. Imagine having even worse than that is spending like $300 on a ticket or something like that.
Yeah,
and then you have to go through that. Fuck that.
Fuck that.
Especially because like the game and the way that it all went down, like it would have sucked for the whole entire game, and then at the very end it would have been lit. You know what I mean? For like such a short period of time.
Yes, it was pretty rough. Yeah,
we're gonna get to the game later. Josh, your weekend? Whole lot of nothing.
Not nothing. I mean,
productive work.
Goddamn, yeah. It's just like there's been a lot of sacrificing going on with my personal time. I've been just, massively committed to this goddamn company and our vision and everything we're working on. So I mean, I did that through the weekend. I
saw you went to a cool ice cream place. What was that?
Oh yeah, I did go out to dinner though with my family. I mean, it was the fishies. There's like this fish cone. It's like a fish waffle. It's actually right in Providence. I didn't even know it was there. It's right near Federal Hill. Like on one of the sides, the off streets, and they put ice cream. They like make a fish waffle, and inside is like some space, and then they stuff it with ice cream, and it's like a little ice cream fishy waffle cone sandwich.
Wasn't fish flavored ice cream, right?
No, no, God no. But yeah, did it make me absolutely sick to my stomach? 100%.
You didn't go the dairy
I did.
One?
I got to be honest with you. I'm starting to question a little bit more the vegan food that I'm eating. Like they say it has no milk, but then I get like these horrible stomach aches from it. So I'm wondering like what the fuck is in it? You know what I mean? Because it's not processing correctly in my body. Like if I have like a chicken breast or rice or Chipotle, like I'm fine. I don't have any issues whatsoever. And then I eat this fucking bullshit that they make, and it's like that. And the reason I'm even saying that is I had these vegan meatballs from I think Beyond over the weekend, and they just felt like I had a pit of acid in my chest. Like it felt horrible, dude. It tasted like gasoline a little bit too. And then I get a notification today, and fucking I think which one is it actually? I have it right here.
Well, because like I've been told like the vegan options of food like Beyond Meat and all that shit, like yeah, it's vegan or it's vegetarian, but they put so many fillers and stuff and additives in that food to make it taste as close as it can to the real version. So like, is that better for you or is that actually worse for you?
That's the problem, Will, is like that's what I don't know. And then I saw I don't even know which one it was, which company it was, but it was like I think it was what are the big ones? What's the big company?
Beyond, yeah.
Beyond. It was Beyond. And they found traces of mold in the Beyond Meat factory.
Ugh.
And it's one of those things where, and that could happen anywhere at any time, but it's just one of those things, I guess, where, it just, I don't know. Vegan food is now on my question list. I almost think vegan food is really fruits, vegetables, and like lean meats.
Yeah.
Well, it's like when they were like, let's do Splenda instead of sugar, and then everybody found out Splenda was horrible for you. It's like,
that's exactly what we're talking about.
It's like we're just getting in a few years, someone's gonna be like, hey, remember all that vegan food we were eating? Oh yeah.
That was like when aspartame came out as like the same thing, like along the lines of Splenda. Like it was supposed to be a sugar substitute, and then it's like giving people fucking heart attacks.
It's exactly right, Will.
Yeah.
And it breaks your heart because my heart specifically, because my brother is eating that stuff all day long. Mm-hmm. It's like all he eats because he doesn't eat meat.
Oh, that's true, yeah.
So it's one of those things where I don't know what's going on, man. It's a battle. It's an everyday battle. Trying to find food I can eat. Fuck.
Yeah, so that's gonna wrap up the weekend roundup. We're gonna jump into some golf thing. I know Will has a couple things prepared.
Yeah, I really honestly like there wasn't a lot of news around the golfing world like this past week. So I found a few things that I'll just want to run by you guys, and maybe you can it'll spark some banter. So this is kind of a funny question, and this was actually the Golf Digest just did a whole like article or video on this. But what do you think you would shoot if a tour player hit all your drives? Only your drives.
Probably 10 to 15 over still.
10 to 15. I think I'd play pretty much exactly the same.
I think I'm probably. It depends on what day. I would definitely say that on my best day, not much different. On my worst day, completely game-changing scores.
Yeah.
Game-changing in a good way.
In a good way. Yeah, obvious. No, in a bad way.
Well, no, because I would say your drive is probably the best part of your game.
Well, if I hit, I would definitely. Ooh, that's tough. I don't know that it is.
Your driver's either like on or off, I feel like. So
yeah, I think there's been a lot of transitions in my swing, and there's a lot of different mentality switches. Like when I stopped, there was like this summer specifically, I stopped going for long drives. Like I would still try to hit the ball hard, but not out of my comfort zone. And for years, actually my whole life leading up to this year, I would try to hit the ball as hard as I possibly could on every swing.
Yeah, and you had a lot of back issues this year too.
yeah, and that's like led up from the past 2 years of trying to do long drive stupid shit, But now it's definitely gotten better. But my iron game is taken up, and my putting is not far behind. I'm actually getting decent. So I don't know. I think definitely a couple strokes advantage for sure. I mean, I think all of us would,
Yeah.
A couple strokes.
I can't deny that, no.
Yeah,
if a PGA Tour player was driving fairways 310
like you just
yards,
assume that you just have a great approach shot every single time you step up to the second shot.
Yeah, then I think I'd probably shoot 10 to 15 over.
10 to 15
What are you
over.
shooting now?
Probably like 18 to 20 over.
You're lost, Andrew.
I play pretty much
you would
bogey
do
to
better
double
than
bogey
that,
golf.
I think.
I think you would. I think you would only be like 5 to 10 over. I don't know.
I know. I think so.
How do you play bogey golf?
I think you would be probably. I think you'd probably be in the range of like 60 or 70 over.
well. Speaking of scoring,
it'd make you worse somehow.
Too much false confidence going up to the approach shot. Look at this sick fucking drive I just hit out here.
He would go up with like a big shot. Just got to put it on the green. And he fucking send it over 20 yards into the pond, and he'd be hitting for 6 on the top of the green.
Well, I mean, with score in mind, and this one might be a confidence booster for Colucci over here, but what do you think the average adult male shoots? So take all age ranges. What do you think the average score is for just a regular adult male?
20 over.
Well, give me like an 18 number. So like 20 over if it's like 72 and you're saying 20 over then 92.
Honestly, probably 105.
I was gonna say 110.
110.
Yeah.
It's actually 96.
Really?
Yeah.
Wow.
So that would be like 24 over, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. So
like 12 over on each.
It's more than bogey golf.
It's just over bogey golf. I mean, if you think about it, because you have to get the even number of how many holes are bogeyed versus triple bogeyed versus parred. Pars and birdies are on the minority and the average. And then obviously so if you have on 9 holes, let's say 2 pars, and then you have, equally as high. So let's say you have 2 triple bogeys.
Yeah.
And then you got to factor in bogeys. That's what you come out with is just probably 12 over on 9.
Exactly. Yeah. All right, cool. All right.
What would your, before you read that article, what would your guess have been?
I think it would have been in the 90s. I mean, I've seen a lot of stuff on social media that only 3% of golfers ever break into or 10% of golfers only break into 80 for the in their lifetime, or 70 in their lifetime, or something like that. So it's kind of like a relieving stat.
I think that stat is a little skewed. Because I think when people write down score, like if they're tracing it, they're probably using data from like Gin System or something.
Yeah,
Probably. For our range, for our age range specifically, it's under 90. It's 89 is the average score for I think
That
it's
would
like
make
17
sense.
to 24 or something.
I
like
just
that.
look at all the players that I've played with in the past and thinking about them hitting, 95, 96. I just don't see it.
It's true.
There's too many people don't ever give it the time of day to really actually like get to that level. Because I can find myself like often from like 42 to 45 score range. And I've been playing for
Through
10
nine,
years.
yeah,
Through
through
nine.
nine,
Yeah.
yeah.
So 80. Yeah. So basically
sub
like
90
around
there,
90. Around 90, would have, it's not a rare occasion for me to hit, an 85 to 90 basically.
Yeah.
Which is, again, I've been on the golf team, in high school. I've, been affiliated with golf products for 7+ to 8 years or so, like started the brand and been obsessed my whole, for as long as that's gone on. So yeah, I still think 96 is a stretch. I'd say 100 is probably more accurate.
That's what I would
50,
say.
because then it's like 50 and 50. I know a lot of people who can shoot a 50 on 9 holes,
Oh yeah, easy.
Yeah.
So my last little bit of golf fun here is that I know you guys probably watch Shark Tank or have watched Shark Tank.
Mm-hmm.
So actually in the first season, there was a golf product that was on the show, and the guy actually ended up getting a deal. And it's Robert Herjavec likes to call it the pee-pee pole. So I don't know if you guys have ever seen this before, but it's actually a club that you put in your bag that was developed by a urologist. And it's because I guess people are having bladder problems. Men specifically are holding their pee. So the golf course is obviously one of the, we've talked about how their bathrooms need to be more accessible in golf courses. So this probably 10 or 15 years ago, but this guy developed a club basically. It's literally just a club that you pee into, and it has a little towel on the top of it to cover your pee pee. And that's it.
No fucking way.
It's called the Euro Club.
Oh my god, dude!
That's
I feel like
kind of
that's
genius.
I feel like it's creepier than just pissing in the woods.
Yeah, I was like, what would you rather do? Pee in the woods or pee into the pee-pee pole?
Because if it
Pee
was
in the
like
woods.
if it
Pee
was
in the
like
woods, exactly.
yeah, if it was the poo poo pole, then it would be like, okay, there's no bathrooms, you know what I mean? But pee pee pole,
It's the
piss
woods.
in the woods.
Yeah, so he actually ended up getting a deal. Some guy on the first season gave him $20,000 to buy inventory, and they actually made a small fortune on it. So
Small fortune.
So this company is still in business. I found their website, and it looks like the website hasn't been changed since 2004. It's hilarious, but it actually does exist. So if you go to Euroclub.com, you yourself, listeners, can get yourself a pee-pee pole.
Wait a minute. I'm changing my mind on this. That is not genius. That's public indecency.
I mean, it all is. That's the problem.
Do you guys want to see a picture of it?
like
I need to see a picture.
yeah, like what's the point if you're gonna have to whip out your wanker at some point or another? Why?
So there you go.
No way.
You just put a little towel
Oh
over
my
your
God.
pee-pee and pee into the pole. A lot of pee-pees being dropped right now.
That's
What
a real
about
website.
variable? What about variable
Sizing options.
Sizing options.
I think they just assume that everyone's average. So
I mean, I figure if you just need to fit the tip in, I guess, then it makes sense a little bit, or maybe just like the whole.
So you can
But-
you can own your own Euro Club for only $24.95 while supplies last. Look at this website. This is 2004 at its best.
Oh yeah.
That's just,
It looks like a fucking
What does it say?
infomercial website.
Time? What are the brands that say they pushed it?
As seen on TV, Timeless, Daily News, Gizmag, the Miami Herald. Oh, it's just those four. They just keep
Oh my
looping.
God, dude, that's crazy, crazy.
So that's all I got for golf stuff. But I saw that interview with Robert this morning, and I thought that was pretty fucking funny.
That is pretty funny.
Yeah, I like that a lot.
I don't have anything for golf right now. There's not really much going on.
I had a question about golf.
Shoot.
We're going to be playing in this tournament, the Iceberg Open, in a couple weeks.
It's actually not this weekend, but next weekend.
Okay.
Yeah, it is.
So is there anything we can do? Do you know the format of it, Will? Do you know if it's a scramble
It's
or
a scramble. Yep. And then there's like
normal scramble, or is it like one
I
of
thought
those
you said it
fucking
was
Texas?
individual.
it's like a 2-man scramble, I think, or something like that. And then there's like skins, and I don't know what skins are, but I think
Skins
it's just
is a
like
type
betting
of
or something.
golf. I don't. Yeah, I don't know how to play skins, but
It's a 2-man scrambler. It's some form of a scramble, and there's like all cash prizes and stuff like that. So
Okay.
yeah, I mean, I don't think they do anything crazy with it just because it's fucking December and we're gonna be playing golf.
But it's
so.
normal. It's a normal scramble. It's not a Texas scramble or anything like that.
No, just a normal scramble.
Okay.
Yeah.
We should come up with something, interesting to do. And you're saying it's a 2-man scramble. So is it 2 and 2? Like, God forbid, is Colucci going to be on my team? Or?
Colucci will probably be on your team. Yeah, he'll have one last chance at redemption since the playing field is so level with it being cold out.
Yeah, that's true. Actually,
you got it's my new
we
strategy.
should come up with some crazy thing to do. Like, so we're not playing our own ball. We'll be playing together, right?
I'm assuming. Yeah.
Are we doing us 3 or are we doing us 4 people?
My dad's joining us.
Okay,
Super
so if
Dave's
your
gonna be our
dad's joining
fourth.
us, then
If it's us versus you, whoever loses has to do an entire podcast episode in full skiing gear, snow pants, ski boots,
fucking melt in here.
jacket.
that's
everything.
a melt. That's a meltdown.
Too bad. Don't lose.
Pass out.
All right.
All
Don't
right.
lose.
I mean, yeah, I like that. How about? Yeah, okay, I like that. I was thinking about something ridiculous we could do on the podcast as well, and I keep coming back to dog food for some reason.
I'm not.
No dog food.
I don't know what it is. I just had this thing like I don't know if I just want to try like a dog treat
I'm
or
starting
something.
to think
but
you
like,
just want to try.
I feed Tiki so many dog treats in a day, and he fucking loves them, and I'm just like, well, I mean, what do they really taste like?
Shit.
How do you know this for a fact? Have you been fucking waffing down dog treats?
Most food is based off smell, and it smells like shit. So I'm gonna say it tastes like shit.
I don't think it smells like shit. I think that's an opinion.
Do you know?
You don't have those
Do you know what
canines.
kind of dog food Tiki eats? Does he eat fish
Well,
based,
okay.
or is it Is it
The
fish
dog.
based?
I'm not talking about dog food because dog food is foul.
Yeah.
Like he'll eat like salmon dog food that's like wet food
Yeah,
and
no.
shit.
Oh, you're talking about the treats. Well, they make treats that are edible for humans and dogs.
Well, that's my
Yeah,
point.
yeah.
Is like
those can't be that bad.
Yeah,
I'm
I
sure
think
they probably taste not the greatest, but
like probably just bland.
Yeah.
yeah.
Probably just bland with like little hints of flavor that. So maybe I'll bring one in one day and we can do some kind of
Josh
game show.
won't drink my exotic soda that I brought in last week, but he wants to try dog treats.
Yeah, that's facts.
All right, so that's going to wrap up the golf segment for this week, and we're going to move into some football stuff. Interesting week in the NFL. The Patriots and the Jets played in what I think might be the worst game I've ever watched in my life. The Jets had a total of 107 total yards throughout the entire game. I think they only had like 4 yards in the second half. It was insanity bad. However, it ended in one of the most exciting ways I've ever seen a Patriots game. And with 12 seconds left, the Jets punted it away to the Patriots, and scoring the first touchdown of the day was Marcus Jones on an 84-yard punt return for a touchdown. And I went ballistic. It was fucking awesome. And even Will was able to catch the end of that game.
Yeah,
So he
I
was
walked in from golf and I got it right up on the TV. I think there was like 1 minute and 30 seconds left, and I'm like, oh, I was like, this game's probably going to go into OT.
Yeah.
And the punt is in the air. And I'm like, what if they just run it back right now? And this fucking rookie runs it back 84 yards. I think
Yeah.
it was it his first touchdown ever?
First touchdown ever. He recently took over the job. He actually got injured in the game and then came back into the game because he's badass. And it's the first ever game that his parents came to Foxborough to watch together.
And that was, I don't know if you just said this, but it was the first game of the year that somebody even ran back a touchdown.
A punt, yeah. First punt return of the entire year for the entire NFL. And I think it's the first time in like 30-something years that a special teams return wins the game in the closing seconds. Like, it's happened like once before. Oh, it was Deshaun Jackson, but that's a different story. But this game was awesome. Just one of those defensive games. Well,
They're both like heavily defensive teams though, right?
yeah, and they're both offenses just suck at the moment, but now we get to look forward to the Patriots playing on Thanksgiving, which will be super exciting. Now we go into the 6-4. Did you guys see the snowstorm out in Buffalo?
Oh yeah. Hard to miss it. I mean, it's my entire TikTok For You page is that
Yeah.
Buffa snowstorm.
Anyways, this snowstorm in Buffalo, they moved the Bills and Browns game to Detroit, and sometimes like you think the forecaster is going to be like full of shit. Like they're saying 4 to 6 feet of snow, and you're like, no way. And then like, no. They actually
pulls through and got it right.
It is insane. Like if you go on the Buffalo Bills YouTube, I highly recommend watching this. They have like a 10-minute video about how they got every single player to the stadium just to travel to Detroit. It's insane. Like they were literally just like all of the Bills like townspeople were just going to the Bills players' houses
and like digging them out, right?
Digging them out.
Yep.
It was insane.
Wow.
And like whoever was on the team with the big truck, they would call and be like, "Yo, you got a truck? Can you go pick up like him, and him?" And he'd be like, "Yep." And he would just go. Everybody was just picking each other up and just trying to get to the Bills stadium.
That's crazy.
It was sick. Josh, your Lions that you were excited about in the beginning of the year on fire, 3 wins in a row.
I mean, I'm going to be honest with you. I think that their losses were not indicative of the team's skill.
No, they were coming up short by like that much.
Yeah, I mean, they were also scoring like 30 or 40 points in those games that they lost. I mean, it was stupid. I think they're a really good team. I've been betting on them. I picked up DeAndre Swift in the beginning. It's sad. I don't know what's going on with my fantasy team, man. Like these players
you're crumbling, actively crumbling.
It's bullshit. Like some of these players should be great. Like DeAndre Swift. They won yesterday. They scored 30 points. Where is he on that?
Jamal Williams took all 3 touchdowns from him.
Yeah, it's bullshit. I mean, well, no, he had 1 touchdown.
Yeah, but the other running back had 3.
Oh, was it the other running back?
Yeah, they kept giving whenever they were down in the red zone, he would get the ball instead.
Yeah, but why? Why is that shit happening? Like
I don't know. Maybe
they're trying to protect him. I mean,
or maybe the other guy's just better in short yardage situations.
But that's bullshit.
No,
DeAndre Swift is should have been. I mean, before that happened, he was averaging like 20 points or 25 points. My fantasy team is crumbling. Josh Allen, what the fuck? I mean.
I think they got screwed because like they weren't really able to practice that much. Josh Allen himself didn't practice at all, and then they had that whole disaster with the snow, so they had to like travel to Detroit.
That's kind of dude. He scored 12.5 points. He threw for 197 yards and a touchdown. They ran the balls what they did, and I don't know if that's because he's been injured. I mean, he did look like he got injured in the last game a little bit more, but I don't want to go down the whole list. But I just my team. No matter what I did in my lineup this week, I would not have won, and he only scored 100 points on me.
Yeah, that's what it is. It's the nature of the beast. My team's also kind of falling apart right now. So
unless Marquise Brown and Josh Allen step up, they say he's going to return. They're thinking he could return tonight. Actually,
they're playing in Mexico City tonight.
So if he plays tonight, then next week he'll be good for my lineup, and we'll see.
Yeah. But I'm really excited for the Patriots and the Vikings game on Thanksgiving. That should be awesome. Let's move off some football stuff and go into what are we watching. Will want to do this week.
Yeah.
So I'm going to kick it to him first. I have something as well.
Yeah. All right. So I got 2, but I'm only going to really speak on one of them. I watched Smile last night.
Okay.
Which is on Paramount Plus.
Is it?
Yes.
Okay.
And I just canceled Paramount Plus. I have like 5 days left on it, so it was good timing. I'm not going to really go into it. I'm going to give it a 6.2. Did not love it. It was okay. I would still recommend anyone going to watch it. It's a creepy movie for sure. But it was kind of long, and I felt like it didn't need to be 2 hours. So I think they could have ended it probably an hour, not an hour early, but a half hour early. And then this is the one that I will talk about because I think it deserves a little bit of airtime. Stutz on Netflix.
Are you talking about with Jonah Hill?
With the therapy?
Yeah, so Jonah Hill made a movie about his non-traditional therapist. It's an hour and a half long. It's essentially a live sit-in on a session between Jonah and Stutz, but it actually takes place over the course of 2 years, which you don't find out until about probably halfway into the movie. So
okay.
I don't really want to spoil that for you. And Jonah himself said, like, I don't even care if people don't like it. He's like, I just wanted to make this fucking movie. So I think that's important to note. But and I'm probably gonna need a few eye rolls on the listener side of things. But like, there's obviously a stigma around men's mental health and like mental health in general. So the whole point of the movie is to really break down those barriers and giving viewers immediate tips and tools that they could potentially use right away with things that they're struggling with. So I personally don't go to therapy right now, and I have gone to therapy in the past. And it's not something I'm afraid to share or talk about. I think it should be like a more open discourse with stuff like that. But like, that's kind of the main problem, right? Like, most people look at therapy as a negative, or talking about it puts you in more of a vulnerable state. But I mean, vulnerability is ultimately what connects everyone together. So, with all that being said, I think the movie is a must watch. It's an hour and a half long. Sometimes throughout the movie, you might find yourself kind of, losing interest, but there's a lot of great tips and tools in there. And I think it did exactly what Jonah Hill set out to accomplish with it. So, and at the same time, it's Jonah Hill. So it's funny. The movie is funny. Like there's comedy aspects to it. So it has a really nice balance between like education awareness and then also comedy as well.
Yeah, I've been a major proponent of mental health, self-care, and also therapy. I still look back at the last 3 years and think coming out of COVID, starting a business, having the tremendous weight of all of that and mixed with personal life and the personal, boundaries that we all had to get over, or not boundaries, but barriers that we all had to climb over during COVID and coming out of COVID. And now, even still, it's turbulent times, economically and everything. So it helps to take an hour a week to reflect and get fucking mental health actually in the forefront. I've tried to pressure Colucci into doing it with me because we both have anxiety. It hasn't succeeded yet, but
No.
I think at some point.
No, I want to go very bad.
I mean,
I need to go.
A lot. Colucci's got PTSD right now from the weekend.
I know. I'm surprised you didn't sign up right away after Friday.
Yeah. I mean, and the key is vulnerability. Will is like that. That's fact. So, I advocate for that fucking whole absolutely 100%. So that was cool of Jonah to do. I fucking love Jonah Hill.
Yeah, it was a great movie. And I have plans to watch it again. Because there's so much to digest from it and so much to learn from it, especially if you're someone who does have anxiety or trouble or coping issues, or, it doesn't even matter. We're depending on what you're struggling with. There's something in there for everyone. And I would recommend fucking the entire world watching it.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah, I've been seeing it all over social media and stuff. So I think I'm definitely going to check it out, and appreciate you sharing, Will. That was great. And appreciate you sharing too as well, Joshua. I'll move on to what I was watching, and 12 years led to last night, the series finale of The Walking Dead on AMC, and I was very nervous going into the finale. William has heard enough about this.
I've also heard. I think they've heard enough as well. Colucci, you got anything new?
No. This is in the moment.
All right. You get when you call me at night on a Sunday and you're like, "Oh, The Walking Dead was really good." That's okay. You know what I'm saying? Like you can tell me about it in the background, but does the whole world need to really know that Andrew is now 22 years in the making, rewatched Walking Dead 18 times on the final episode of the most forgettable show in America right now currently?
Well, they blew me away with the finale. It was absolutely fantastic. I even stayed up after to watch The Talking Dead, which is like a talk show about The Walking Dead, where they had a whole big cast party and reunion. It was freaking awesome. So even though I might be the only person in the world still watching, it was fantastic, and it blew my expectations out of the water. Josh, what were you watching?
I tried to watch this new movie, Lamborghini, The Man Behind the Legend, and it was so bad.
You're really on a losing streak here with the movie.
Yeah, dude. It was horrendous.
Did you even finish it bad?
Oh, yeah, we finished it, but this was the most boring movie I've ever watched in my life, and it's the story of race car builders, or supercar builders. It's guy starts out, it's who it is too. It's that fucking guy he's in a bunch of stuff these days. This guy,
Frank Grillo.
Yeah. And I watched it. I think we paid for the movie, which is even more horrible.
No, he doesn't look familiar to me.
I would give it a
Purge.
3.2.
Okay.
I mean, it was
Just out of here.
that bad. Yeah,
That's an
this
F.
guy. Frank. You don't know this guy?
He doesn't really look that
he's
familiar.
In so much. He's in Captain America. He's one of the bad guys.
Do you think he's a lead investor in Grillo's Pickles?
Probably not, to be honest with you. But
sad.
Actually, what do I know? Maybe he is actually Frank Grillo's. Yeah, I didn't even realize. I was trying to figure out what you meant, but yeah, his name is Grillo's. Maybe he is. I don't know. He's
a
fucking
pickle
money.
king.
I can tell you that much. But yeah, that movie sucked. Yeah, I think.
Did you ever finish Andor?
We did finish Andor.
Is it as good as everybody's saying?
I think like the last two episodes, it would be if there were. It was like not the last episode, but the 2 episodes before that were unbelievable. And then it died.
Has it eclipsed Mandalorian in your opinion yet, or no?
Oh, has it eclipsed it? No, definitely not. I don't think anything is ever going to touch Mandalorian. I just think it's one of those movies where it was the first of its kind. You know what I mean? It's the way they filmed it, the quality of the film, the quality of storytelling, the execution from Jon Favreau. There's nothing that's going to touch that.
Yeah.
But I will say that this Andor, there's a couple episodes in Andor that are world-shattering. Like, it finally gives context. You ever hear the argument of, like, is the Empire bad or good? You ever hear that?
People like root for Darth Vader and love Darth Vader.
I mean like you see, we always portray the good versus the evil, right? That's what storytelling drives out to, or the negative energy versus the positive energy.
Yep.
And we always want to choose the positive energy. But there was a conspiracy that the Empire is actually not evil. And the Empire versus the rebellion, who's the bad guy, so to speak, in the movie? Like, who's the evil one? Because if you stop to think about it, we never really saw that much bad stuff out of the Empire.
No.
You know what I mean? Like, there were a couple times where they blew a planet up, but when they blew the planet up you don't know what that planet was capable of, and they're trying to do galactic peace. Like, they never dove into characters or stories enough for you to see it. And now, finally, in Andor, they actually reveal the person-to-person tyranny that the Empire was instilling. And Andor is the recipient of that. And, of course, that's the start to the rebellion. So that all 3 movies, or all 3 of the original Star Wars movies, plus Rogue One and some of the other movies like that, have led up to... This was actually, the lead up to all of that.
Yeah. This takes place like right before
like
Rogue
Andor,
One.
I would give like an 8.6.
Yeah.
Or an 8.7.
Everybody is raving about it online.
Yeah, and I would give Mando like a 9.6.
I love Mandalorian.
So it's like probably one notch down from Mandalorian.
Okay. All right.
Yeah.
Interesting.
Oh, last thing.
Shoot.
I've rewatched this now twice, but Last Chance U basketball, I don't know why. I just like love this story.
Yeah.
Did you ever watch that?
I watched the football one for a little bit. I never watched the basketball one.
Basketball one is just like intoxicating because it's just like so
Are they
emotional.
doing another season or are they done?
I think they probably will, but a lot of the kids made it to like Division I schools and really did well for themselves. So it's kind of like an uplifting story, and at the same, because they're a different. It's the realer perspective on sports and the ride up to the pros. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I'm trying to get there.
It's like you're
brutal.
writing the ultimate movie, but it's real.
Right, exactly. Clutch.
It's like Coach Carter. Like,
yeah,
Coach Carter?
It literally is Coach Carter, but real life.
Yeah, that's awesome.
The coach is insane. Coach Mosley too. He's fucking. He runs more than the players do. He's fucking yelling up a storm. It's crazy.
That's awesome. All right, that's going to wrap up What Are We Watching? And we are going to move into our final segment, a little bit of a Thanksgiving segment. Pretty much just like favorite traditions that you like to do, any quirky things that your family likes to do, whatever you like. I'm already receiving hate in this very office. Last week, I pointed out that we are not a turkey family. I think turkey sucks. It is one of the worst meats in the world. And
Will not happy with that.
Breath.
No, and then
breath.
so we do a prime rib roast with a nice antipasto and some baked potatoes and roasted potatoes.
I'm all for the prime rib roast, but what do you do for Christmas? Because isn't that more of like a Christmas thing?
We do prime rib roast again, yeah.
Oh, okay, so you double it up.
Absolutely.
Okay.
yeah.
No, I mean I love it. I like turkey, so I'm a big turkey guy, and my dad loves cooking it. I love cutting it. My parents have been teaching me with this electric saw.
Yeah.
I learned very young, like 4 or 5
Interestingly enough,
years old.
to that point, Will, I saw a video the other day by Max, the meat guy. Have you ever seen him?
No,
On
wait,
YouTube?
no.
You've seen him. You
Maybe.
probably don't know it, but it's one of those like YouTube shorts that you've seen. And he cut up a turkey like Gordon Ramsay would do it, where he like did it right at the joints of everything.
Yep.
And he did it in such a way I couldn't believe like how wrong people do turkey cutting. Like my dad's been doing turkey cutting wrong since the dawn of turkey cutting.
But if you ever went up to your dad on Thanksgiving and told him like, "Hey, Pops, I think you should try it this way," he'd probably look at you and be like, "Oh."
Yeah,
You don't even know. So.
Yeah. And sorry to interrupt, but keep going.
Do you have anything else, Colucci?
Well, my big thing for Thanksgiving is it's all about football for me. Like, we eat so early in the afternoon because my grandmother doesn't like to drive in the nighttime, so we try to get her home before it turns dark.
What time do you eat? Like 2 or 3?
12.
Oh, wow. Okay. That is early.
No, where we eat early, and then we just kind of hang out until it gets dark, and then she goes home.
Thanksgiving is really a lunchtime.
Yeah.
meal
We
dinner.
eat at like 2 o'clock, because
man.
we also, I mean, we have a very small Thanksgiving this year, but we usually have 6 to 10 people coming from New York and all over the state.
Because then you can do dinner later on of the same food if you
Yeah.
really
Yeah, you just eat
Seconds,
leftovers.
yeah.
Better the second
It's not
time.
even really seconds. It's just dinner. It's just
It's like
lunch and dinner.
first the.
yeah.
No, but we do a lot of fun. Like my brothers, we'll end up like playing GameCube or something, or a board game. But this year it's very different because the Patriots are playing at 8:30, so they have the night game. So we're gonna kind of delay everything a little bit and then have like a second dinner together, and we're all gonna watch the game together, and it's gonna be freaking awesome. So I'm pretty excited.
Hell yeah.
What about you? Any quirky traditions, anything like that?
I got a few things I'll go over here. First of all, I want to know what your guys' favorite side is for Thanksgiving. So,
My
because
mom-
no prime rib, no turkey, but what's your favorite side?
My mom makes these roasted potatoes that are fantastic. She has her own recipe for them with like herbs and spices, and it's fucking fire.
Hell yeah. Josh?
See, my thing is like,
It's not really a Thanksgiving thing, I know. But
No,
like,
not
Well, at
no.
least it's potatoes.
No, I'm not. I wasn't gonna say anything about you. I'm sorry that you have PTSD on the podcast about me making fun of you, Colucci. No, I was actually gonna prelude me is that like I'm gonna catch shade from everyone is like I don't like Thanksgiving at all.
Yeah, Josh,
I hate it.
Bitch.
I love fucking Thanksgiving.
Yeah, I hate it. I'm a Scrooge of Thanksgiving, not because I don't like the idea of like taking thanks or whatever that means, but I don't like the food and the traditions of like sitting there and like sitting in front of a TV. Like I talked to a guy, Andrew knows this because we had this talk last week, but I know one of the guys that's working for the Baby Delight, a company in our building. He's going to Vegas with his family and he's going to go tear it up. And that to me is Thanksgiving. That's a time to give thanks to each other, is over some slots and some GTs.
I like traditional Thanksgiving. I like sitting around the table.
A lot of people do.
I do
No
too.
hate against it.
I don't see my family that often. I'm lucky to be home once or twice a month. So,
Yeah.
For someone who hasn't lived at home since they were 17, it's a nice time for me. My sister's flying up from Mexico with her husband this year. So
Nice.
See,
and
that is huge though, Will. Like I still live at home. So I see my family every day and my extended family has evaporated in front of me. So for me, it's like, I would rather take that family and go do something fun than I would. But I feel like if I was, let's say, living in New York City and working or living in Miami or whatever, and I only came back a couple times a year to see them, I feel like I would like not give
You'd
a
love
fuck
it,
and I would
yeah.
just want to hang out with the family in the
Right.
house,
Right. All right. Well, with that being said, Josh, noted Thanksgiving hater. I'll skip one of my parts on here.
Well, what
but-
was your favorite side? You're stuffing guy.
Oh, mashed potatoes.
Oh, okay,
man.
easily. It's not even fucking
But they've
close
got
for
to
me
be.
either.
They've got to be good though. You
Well,
know what I mean?
my grandfather, who rest his soul, he used to claim that Yukon Gold potatoes are the only potato that you can make mashed potatoes with.
That's what we do.
Because usually you use russets. Russets kind of like
For
the,
French fries,
the
'cause they're
average
dry.
go-to. Yeah,
Yukon Gold to the best.
Yukon Gold fire.
Flavor wise, yes, they are the best for mashed.
So mashed potatoes, same thing for me. It's not even a close decision. And then, I mean, I just, outside of like spending time with my family, there's always two things that are constant in the Davis household on Thanksgiving, and that's playing ping pong downstairs for as long as possible until there's literally holes in your fucking socks from running across the floor.
Yeah.
Ping pong, and then when you're done with ping pong, it's Wii bowling until it's time for bed.
Bowling.
Yeah, huge Wii bowling family. And actually, it's not really a funny story, but when the same grandfather, when he was alive, he used to love playing Wii bowling. And as he got older, one of the last times he was at our house for Thanksgiving, he lost his balance while doing the bowling thing, and he went crashing right into my parents' brand new 48-inch TV, which was huge back
my
then.
God.
Yeah, he was all good. There's nothing broken bodily and technology-wise, but it's like I have that gripping memory of him from Thanksgiving every him
so
crashing
funny.
into the TV
Wii
playing
bowling got too hot, dude. It got too
It
hot.
gets fucking competitive.
Holy shit.
Oh, that's awesome. Josh, any traditions that you're planning on trying to start?
Well, the problem is that my brother can't eat the meal.
Yeah.
My uncle can't come to our house because of Tiki, and basically there's like little under.
Well, didn't you do dumplings last year?
Last year was a nightmare. I tried to do my own take on Thanksgiving, and I thought my thought was, if we're not doing anything, then why wouldn't we try to have fun cooking? And I don't mean be put the burden to cook on us, for like a big Thanksgiving meal. I wanted to try things that we hadn't done before, to do like a cooking day, hang out in the kitchen, cook together, enjoy a good meal together, watch movies at night, Christmas movies at night, and then do Black Friday shopping online, just hang, right? Like that's okay with me. And I got no help from anybody. And they sat there and they watched me for fucking 8 hours straight, rolling dumplings.
Slaving away in the kitchen.
Yeah. Rolling fucking dumplings on a wax paper sheet with like 5 other dishes that like was the biggest pain in the ass to cook. And therefore it ruined the whole entire holiday. And this year, I don't even think we're going to be together. I think that half my family's going to my aunt's house, like immediate family, and then half of it is not. So there's just like a big wall in between our family. So, yeah.
I can see why you might be a Scrooge.
Yeah.
Well,
Sure.
if I could lift your spirits up a little bit, and you said you like watching Christmas movies. So have you guys watched the original Christmas Story?
It's one of my favets.
So
I've
Always has
actually
been.
never seen it.
Fuck you. That's I literally watched it yesterday. It's the greatest movie ever. But they're coming out with a sequel.
Yes, they are.
I saw it.
Yeah. Okay. So
Not
this
the
is
movie,
a new
but
news.
I saw that they did it.
But
yeah.
the guy Ralphie's all grown up and shit. Apparently, it's phenomenal.
Really?
So, yeah. I saw
that's
like
great news.
I don't know if Cinema Joe on TikTok already did a review of it. I think but
Early reviews are in, and they're fantastic.
yeah. So I'm really excited about that because we watch that every year on Christmas
Well,
morning.
Will
too,
Ferrell's
so.
coming out with his new movie.
I
Him
did
and
hear
Ryan
that,
Reynolds.
yeah.
Although,
And Dave-
oh fuck, I forgot.
Back
Big
to
it.
what are we watching? What happened?
No. When I just released that when I said they were doing that, biggest letdown I think I've ever heard of is that it's actually a musical.
Wait, the Will Ferrell movie?
Yes. The Will Ferrell, Ryan Reynolds movie that was supposed to be, in my opinion, the highlight. It should have been the highlight of the Christmas season, is a fucking musical.
Yeah, I'm not
Are
a
you
big.
not a musical fan?
I like Broadway.
No.
I like going to Broadway to watch
Yeah,
shows, but I don't really want to watch a musical on the TV.
Am I going to watch Will Ferrell and Ryan Reynolds in a musical? I'll watch it, but like,
I probably won't. I don't know.
I mean, it's not even that I just think it's crazy. Like, Will Ferrell hasn't come back and done a Christmas movie since Elf, and he's the Christmas god.
Also
Like,
watched that yesterday, and speaking of fucking Jon Favreau, he helped like direct or produce that movie too.
which one?
Elf.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
I didn't know that.
Oh,
Either.
I did know that. I
Jon
knew that.
Favreau's got like polar opposites, but on his resume right
He's
now.
the king.
Yeah.
He's the modern day. When like 30 years after somebody does something really good, people talk about them as being like these gods, like Spielberg, for instance. His career is the best ever. And yeah, I mean, he kind of was. But
Do you think that's
Jon
gonna be
Favreau, it's not. I don't think it's going to be. It is Favreau.
Yeah.
Everything that man has touched has turned to gold.
He's
Yeah.
a fucking Swiss Army knife
Yeah,
in
yeah.
the movie industry.
He's your guy, and he's Disney's boy too. Like Disney now, he did, dude.
He also is a great actor. He's hilarious in Spider-Man.
Yeah.
If you go down the list on Jon Favreau, the guy is he's 1 in a billion.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Like with talent, execution, and
The whole nine.
the
Yeah,
whole nine. And
I
he can
agree.
do any movie. He can do The Mandalorian, and he reinvented modern cinema techniques in filming. Like he created the dome. It's him.
Yeah.
It was his vision to create a dome that would use video game technology so that basically when the camera's pointed X, Y, or Z as they move, the background changes with the camera perspective so that actually is real time. You can create landscapes like video games can. He did that successfully, but then he goes out and does he does Chef's Table, or no, sorry.
Chef.
Yeah.
And it's like my favorite
Oh,
movie
that's
ever.
a
And
legendary
we went to
movie.
Miami and tried the place he ate at, and it's like the best. You know what I mean? Like,
Yeah, his rap sheet's just fucking wild.
yeah. And he dates back to even The Sopranos. You guys remember him being on The Sopranos?
I haven't gotten there yet, but I did know, that he was.
There's a whole season on Chris wanting to make a horror movie. It's like gangster
Oh my God.
like
yeah, the gangster
thing-
murderer. Yeah.
Yeah, like gang, like he's
Don't spoil it for Will, but yeah.
Yeah, it's not much to spoil. He wants to make a horror movie, so he fucking
Molsanti?
Malasanti,
Yeah.
Christopher Malasanti.
Christopher.
Malasanti. Yeah. He Jon Favreau was in it. It's crazy.
I forgot about
He's young.
that. Oh
He
my
looks like he's 23.
Yeah.
It's weird.
Yeah. There's also a horror Christmas movie coming out with David Harbour from Stranger Things. It's like an R-rated Santa movie.
Which one's Harbor?
He's Hopper.
This fucking guy. This guy, the supposed Hellboy that was atrocious.
What?
It's the worst movie I ever saw in my life. I didn't even think I finished it.
Anyways, it's a murderous. It's like a serial killer Santa Claus. It's gonna be crazy.
Great, love that.
Sounds great.
Yeah.
Tis the season.
In Elf, the guy who's managing that store that he works at, the big guy, and he ends up fighting Santa Claus.
Oh yeah.
He's coming out with his own Santa movie. I think it's already out. You can watch. I'm pretty sure it's on Hulu, but that's actually one that's like probably not a lot of people are gonna know about. But he's funny as hell. You know what I'm talking about?
No idea who you're talking about.
He's the guy who runs the department store, and like he hates Elf.
Yeah.
And then Elf ends up working there.
He goes. He's the guy that calls out, "Everybody, Santa's coming to town." And then Elf goes, "Santa!"
Okay. I know.
Yeah.
What you're talking about.
And then he comes
Have you
in.
watched
I
the
know
new
him.
movie?
6-inch ribbons, honey.
So have you watched this new movie yet?
No, it's brand new. It just released it. So I'm just saying, in the name of Christmas spirit. See, Thanksgiving is a good time for me to start my Christmas experience.
Yeah, because you're a big Christmas guy. You like
Christmas.
You like the Christmas season.
I like Christmas.
Yeah.
I like Christmas. I think there's any time in my family is very big into magic. Like between Harry Potter and like Disney, and it's all about the magic. And I think Christmas, like Thanksgiving, has no magic. There's no magic involved. But Christmas, there's some magic, man.
Spending time with your family is the magic, Josh.
Yeah, until they start fucking choking each other out across the table, throwing fucking mashed potatoes at grandma's head, dude.
Dinner roll fight.
Until the fucking yams start flying across the room.
And speaking of the Christmas season, once again, just want to highlight our Black Friday sale that's going on right now. Tri-Lite is marked down to $249. Use code BFCM10 to get that Tri-Lite down to $224.10. Will make the perfect holiday gift for any golfer of any skill. And with that, that is going to wrap up episode 32 of T-Box Talk. Happy Thanksgiving to everybody. Have a wonderful weekend. Stay safe on the holidays if you're traveling. And peace out.
See ya.